Okay, looks like my levels are good. Audio's working. Finally. Okay, if anybody does jump in while this is live, I'll try to look up at the screen right now and see, what's going on. If you do jump on, let me know if my audio is too quiet. It looks like it's good right now. I can see my levels. So I sort of like having some music playing when I'm drawing, but on YouTube I got a request to, sort of explain what I'm doing, what my thought process is, things like that. So let me see here. That request was from Ugly Doll. Awesome username. So yeah, the question was, hello, awesome, I have a request. Can you talk about your drawing as you're creating them so newbies like me can get more of an understanding about story or drawing tech or just cool things you want to talk about? I'm assuming the tech was technique, but I thought about it afterwards. It could be, like whatever I'm using and whatnot. So I figured I'd just go ahead and give a little bit of a rundown of what I'm currently working with, and then what it is that I'm drawing for anybody that's unfamiliar with these characters. So that's the easy one. First off, these are not my characters. This is, here, let me bring that drawing back in. This is The Maxx by Sam Keith, and William Messner Loeb was co-writer or writer on that project. And so this is, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, so this is Julie right here. This is The Maxx. Pretty cool storyline, but I'm not going to get too much into that right now. So pretty much what I was doing on mine was I was just using this as a idea, a reminder of what they look like and whatnot. I'm not drawing scene for scene kind of thing here. I'm just doing my own thing. I'm just literally, like the description says, I'm playing around sketching. So what I had already established last week was, originally I was just going to draw the Maxx by himself, and then I was like, nah, I'm going to sort of make a scene here. I might put a little bit of a background in here, probably just take it to color, why not, right? So Maxx is like a protector of Julie in what he calls the Outback. I don't want to ruin the story for anybody that's not familiar with it. If you don't care, let me know in the comments and I'll just go to town on it next time. So anyways, so he's like a protector figure for her, but that's sort of in his realm. In hers, she is a social worker and she's watching out over him. So the roles are flipped. So what I did here was I'm just sort of throwing him in the foreground, having Julie rest on his back. When I go in and do the layout and the sketching and whatnot, it's just a super rough establishment of what I'm trying to work out in my mind. So I'll go to town all over on the paper. I'll take in a soft eraser or whatever, come back through, get rid of a bunch of stuff that I don't really want to keep, and sort of try to isolate my lines and get it to where I want it to be. And then once I think that that's pretty good, like for instance this shoulder, his collarbone's back here in the mid section. Whoa, uh-oh. That's not good. I just did that's part of what I was fighting with earlier. My screen's not responding correctly. See how it's only going, I don't know if you can even see that, but that dot right there, it's only going left to right across his chest. I can't get it to drop down where I'm at. That's not good. Cool. So I'm going to try to display the toggle back and forth and see if I can get that to drop down and follow me. Okay. Oh. Looks like right now I'll just have to try to draw above that line on the tablet itself. Anyways. So what I was getting to was his collarbone is down here, right? So this arm is coming over and raising up. It'll sort of go up and above his rotator cuff. So over here, because he's 3/4, midline is right in this section. This actually needs to go back. So his shoulder will be set back in here. There we go. So last time when I was doing this, I was running a lot of music and whatnot in the background. Took it over to YouTube, and then I was able to get royalty-free music and just layer that over the whole top of everything that I had done over on Twitch. So this time, because I'm explaining, I don't really have any music going on. Hopefully the ASMR will be an okay substitute. I've got, if you're wondering why I'm wiggling my pen back and forth like crazy, I've got a dead zone on my screen right here, right now. Trying to see if I can fix it. It is what it is. Anyways. So apparently as long as I draw move the drawing above this dead zone, I can still draw up here. Which is probably, for right now, it's probably better on my spine anyways. So there we go. So see, to me, that starts looking a little bit more correct. Because now instead of having his shoulder floating out as if I were looking at him straight on, it's tucked because that if you're looking straight on at it, that's a full. If you're looking completely from the side of the skull, so if I'm looking straight on, this is a full shot, this is a half, and if I spin it, my center line is here. So it becomes like a 3/4. So because of that, the center rotation line is what I'm trying to focus on, where to move this shoulder or whatever. Same thing with every part of the body. So the shoulder, the chest, everything. So if his center line of his torso is here, then that means his body is going to be shifted from a half shot to 3/4. So everything will be rotated at that angle. Unless he's doing something weird that bends and warps out a little bit. It's possible in real life. It's going to look goofy if I try to do it here. So does it have to be perfect? No. So, and then Julie here, I'm just trying to have her drape her shoulder over him, or her forearm, sorry. So, see, I'm not liking this part right here either, so I'll probably have to work the kinks out in that. So in the books, especially when Max is in the outback, right, he'll usually have like he'll have the sort of like this headdress thing going on, and I love that. So a lot of time if I draw him, I'll give him that. Obviously, if I did that right here, it's just going to cover everything up, so that's all good. Settle with this for now. It's actually funner that it's gone because I get to draw Julie in here, so. Might drift in and out of what I'm talking about here, but hey, it's human nature. What you gonna do? Man, that looks a little small on the screen there, though. See if I can get this. That's the thing about doing this. If I draw too big, my arms just getting tired because I'm going all the way across the screen. If I draw a normal page size, then you guys can't see what I'm doing really. And you have to be careful about drawing large, like on the screen, large, because then you'll add a bunch of different details. And then when you go to print this out, they're all gone and it just looks like trash. So too many lines too close together on a big scale, and then it looks fantastic on the screen, right? You print it out, if there's a bunch of lines together, they just become a black spot. So you pretty much just have to keep in mind how it's going to look when it gets printed, and then that'll help you control how heavy you lay your lines. So what I like to do is just sort of, I like to throw as much as much detail and as much skeletal work as I can on the figures, and then go through, soft erase a lot of it out, and just retain what I know I'm going to most likely end up inking. So it might be a little bit hard to tell right now. Actually, yeah, let me back up. But without going into too much detail or losing somebody in perspective and on, pretty much you're always going to have, like right now, if I was to look at this from 2-point perspective, my points are going to be off to the side, right? They're going to be way off to the side. And then say we count that 3/4 point as the main divider, right? Dividing line. And then perspective going off. Well, if I put my horizon right in here or right about Max's eyes, either way, that will give you an angle where Julie will be sort of at an upshot from where we're positioned. Like say if we're the eyes or we're the camera looking at this scene, that's why she's a little bit up like that. So she'll be at a slight upshot, he'll be at a slight downshot because we're looking right here. Too bad I don't have a giant arrow that I can just, does that work? A little bit. Yeah. So right in here. Anywhere between here and here is where our horizon line is going to be. And without drawing this all out and making it all technical, I'm just giving you a rough idea that in my head that's what I'm going for. So, and for anybody confused by perspective, I can just let you know right off the bat that anytime somebody tells you, oh, just draw 2 points, and then, you know, everything is here, and it converges to, you know, infinity once it goes out of picture, and yada yada. That's true, but the one thing that they don't tell you as far as where you're at here is that sort of the same thing applies top and bottom. So no matter what you're looking at, even though you're not going to see it, there's going to be a line way up out of the picture. Same thing down below. Not to confuse you, but that's where those are all going. So hopefully that's pretty clear. Somebody wants me to do a video on that or whatever later on, cool beans, I'll do it. So then with this, same thing with the 3/4 shot with the shoulder. So say this is the sphere of Max's shoulder. So we know that that 3/4 point, if you look at it from the perspective of a ball, the reason I keep saying it here, let me just show you. So say you got a ball, half, either pointing either way, that's going to be like a 3/4. Full, 3/4, half shot. So anytime you have if you have, say the eyes, this is the middle section where the eyes are going to be meeting, right? So we put an eye there and an eye there. Well, if that person looks to the side, then this becomes the center. And then your eye is going to go here, but it's going to get slightly tucked, and your other eye is going to go here. So this section becomes closer, and this section becomes a little bit further away because you're warping the perspective. Uh-oh. Thought I froze my program for a second there. Same thing over here. If this becomes the center line, this eye over here is going to be a little bit closer, and this eye over here is going to be a little bit further apart. And then you can see how you can start putting the forehead, the eyebrows, all that stuff. If you just look at it from that kind of perspective, or from that kind of thought pattern, whatever you want to call it. And also the easiest way to do it too, or to keep that in your mind, is when you are using that principle to rotate your figures, try to keep the shape of a box in mind, right? Center line. I mean, you can draw it in boxes if you want. I'm not a huge fan of boxes. I sort of like something a little bit more fluid, because you're gonna have to tweak it anyways, and no one's really 100% symmetrical. Everything's not exactly in the right spot on both sides of the face or body. So if you look at it from this angle, you'll have the eyes here, and then you can just sort of sculpt out what you want to keep. So you have the sides of the head, etc. This is a super sloppy job, but you get the point. There we go. So see, for me, the folding part of the box, whatever you want to call it, would be right in this area. So this is where her skull is going to go from basically one plane to the next. Drop her ear down a little bit here. And all I'm doing right now is just trying to track her skull to make sure I'm on the right track here. Because as we look up, the top part of what we're seeing gets foreshortened. And then let me see what my save button is. Far right on this one. There we go. Okay. Okay, let me see where I'm at right now. Oh, that's on the screen of above here. I can see this at a smaller scale, so I can see the dimensions a little bit better. This is pretty weird for me because this is sort of giant. This is up my. I try to draw it like 11 by 17 scale, and this is just like 20 something inches right now. Okay, let me shrink this down here a little bit and try to get this back on track. Yeah, it's looking a little bit more natural. It's not so bad, eh? Okay, so what should we give? In this little picture up here, she's sort of wearing like a tank top. Let me see what other ideas I can grab from the web real quick. I got my keyboard under this screen, so I'm just sort of leaning back to get a view of it. Lots of casual wear stuff, so obviously. If we put her in the Outback, though, she will be the Leopard Queen. See if I can bring this image in here. This is from the Maxx, number 2. One of my favorite comic book covers out of all comic books that I am aware of. Love this cover. Alright, so she's wearing like some leopard print stuff there and whatnot. There it goes. Okay, so we're at 40 minutes. I'll probably draw for a little bit more. Try to establish a couple more areas. And then we'll see where to go from there. So if we give her that, let's just give her a rough idea. So see, I can already see it would have to wrap around the back of the body like this, or the back of her ribs like this. You probably see a little bit of her hips. Provided her legs are going off to the side over here. There we go, it's probably a better angle right there. So I just do the draw through and then get rid of what I'm not using. Just keeps it easier for my head. Get rid of that tank top part because we decided not to go with that. So then for this line choice, just thinking about that same question earlier, like why am I doing that? Well, for one, Julie is not, she doesn't really work out. She doesn't, it's nothing, not that that's bad. It's just, she's a certain type of character, right? So if I start going off and making her have too much muscle definition, on and on, people are going to be like, what the heck is that? I could do that. It doesn't matter. But I just think it'd be cool to sort of keep her as she is, but in my style, of course. And so, that being said, I'm just trying to play a fine line between muscle definition and how she is in character. So, what I'm doing here is the shoulder muscles right here, and the pecs, the pectoral. This shoulder muscle sort of comes out from the collarbone, comes down. Can you even see this? No. There we go. So these muscles sort of come down from the collarbone and over and back up and around. And like I was saying before, you got the rotator cuff and all that bone stuff going on underneath here. And then you've got the three, what is it called? Deltoid muscles, I think, maybe. And so that's up underneath there. And this pectoral area sort of is underneath this muscle group, underneath the shoulder or the deltoid muscle group. Hopefully I'm getting that right. I could probably just look it up really quick. So anyways, that's why I'm choosing to bring, now when her skin, when the flesh is on top of there, something's going to fold somewhere. It's pretty much just like fabric. To get no fold, all the limbs would have to go sort of out straight, and even then you're going to get folds. So the bicep sort of comes up and around, and it gets folded right underneath the intersection of where these shoulder muscles come in. So that's why I'm putting the bicep under, bring the shoulder over. Sort of a very gross over simplification of it, but hey. Not to mention that's from memory. So hopefully I'm not wrong on that, or else I'll have to correct myself later. So this weird angle that I've got going on here with her chin and whatnot, this is, for a lot of people, myself included, this is a little bit harder of a angle to play, right? I just keep playing with it until I get it correct. That's the thing too. You could draw it super robotically, or however you want to say it, super methodically. But again, it comes back to that whole thing about people not really being completely symmetrical. So sometimes you'll see somebody who does draw like that, and things are working, they're clicking, but then it also looks sort of inorganic. But I don't know, that's a cool thing too. Like Bart, no offense to Bart Sears, I love Bart Sears' art, but or at least last time I was keeping track of him, he'll use a lot of angles and stuff in what he's drawing, which is fantastic. Especially like when I first saw him, I was a lot younger, so it was really cool to see sort of the hidden parts of the artwork coming through a little bit more, so you could tell what was going on and how to do it, figure out how to do it. Okay, so enough of the rigid stuff. Let's try to have a little bit more fun with it before I finish this for today. So now I'm going to try to put it on. Let me see. So if I take the center line and I follow that to the back of her skull, I know this ponytail setup that she's got here is going to roughly be coming from the center line most likely. So in the back of her head up high, I know I'm going to have the cylinder back there somewhere. And we'll just get rid of that. Bring her head back in. And then roughly I know that's where I'm at. Center line of that cylinder, I know it's going to be right in there. So now the poofy area right here, also sort of going to be like a ball joint, right? So I know, again, 3/4 principle, everything's rotated. Middle line is going to be right in here. So I know pretty much this is going to be the center. Ugh. This tablet has been doing weird stuff on me lately. So I know that's going to be roughly the center line. So if my whole thing is here, center line is going to be here. And then we're sort of looking up. So if I was to draw another circle, that'd be the top area, the top middle facing us. So I'm going to get rid of all that. Now I'm pretty much just, normally I would not draw a lot of these things. I'm just trying to make it very obvious about how I'm arriving to put this sphere shape here. So then we know, judging on this right here, we got her poof going back here. And see how we get this overlap of the shapes? Because we know roughly this is where it's going to be. Play with it a little bit, whatever. So remember, right in here ish, give or take, is my center line of where this whole thing is. So now I know if I want to go ahead and have fun with it, we can make the hair go this way, we can make the hair go that way depending on the wind, like how hers is up there. So that's a judgment call. I sort of want to put a little bit more background in here, so if I bring it in this way and start doing this kind of thing, I'm going to eat into my background a little bit. I got about the same amount on either side, honestly. I'm just trying to get a feel for it. Looks pretty cool actually, both work. But see, if I do that, then I do want to give her that bottom portion, and that's just going to cover up more of the detail. So I think I'll keep the wind going the other way, if at all. So then, following those lines, I might make that a little bit shorter. I'm just playing with it right now. So, and if I remember right, Julie's got bangs. Right? Yeah. I think her leopard queen herself has bangs too, but let me make sure. And this is her right there, but it's a little hard to tell with that one. Yeah, there's a trading card of his from '93. Yep. So, leopard queen Julie also has bangs and whatnot, so let's just do it that way. So again, that little helpful thing that I was drawing earlier for the foreshortening to help me figure out the skull. I know the hairline's roughly going to be in here. Come down here. Dropped her ear short back here. And for her ear, I might even cover this up, I don't know, but I figure because I'm here, why not explain it. So there's this general Y shape. And you'll have the ear go up and over, sort of like that. Come back down into the canal, and then you'll have that little outside earpiece. Now, how much of that remains, we'll see. But just a rough idea for anybody that fights with ears. And then you would get rid of a little bit here and there. That's the thing too, because technically, you know, we're doing a lot of cartooning type stuff going on here. So on a real person, this whole area right here can be fairly short or fairly close together. I'm just roughing this all in. Okay, so now we know we've got her shoulders, her collarbones going this way because of that perspective issue that I explained earlier. Her eyebrows are going this way. You can sort of see how it's happening. It's going off to the sides. Let me undo those. So for this, the reason that, whoops, there we go, that's better. So the reason her collarbone is not starting down here is because she's got, whoops, she's got pressure going on right here. So she's resting this elbow, and this elbow is pushing this part of her collarbone up more than it normally would if she was in a completely resting position. I'm a little bit indecisive about whether or not I want her looking at us right now. Or sort of more off into the distance. We'll see. Okay, let's take a step back and look at it. Hit save. Okay, not so bad, not so bad. So right now I'm just on a pencil layer. And then once I start doing color and whatnot, you know, I'll explain this little palette thingy here that I have going on. This was a feature that they added to Clip Studio a while back. This palette literally stayed, like, this is not even the same project remotely that I had originally done this on. So the palette thing is really, really nice because I can just grab my eyedropper, which is I don't have a shortcut for it. But anyways, I can just grab my eyedropper. Actually, I think it goes to eyedropper when I come over here. It does. Cool. So see if I grab color and then I jump back into my tool and I'm just off and painting. Excellent. I love this innovative idea. So you can come in here and blend. So I'll throw in a light color, I'll throw in a dark, and then I'll just take the oil, where is it? Oil paint one right here that I got, and I'll just mix the two in between, just like you would on a palette. And then you've got all your shades. And cool thing is some of these, you know, a lot of these actually, the yellow, the purple, and whatnot, these will apply to the Maxx. So because I did that before, I've sort of got this floating palette, and I can just keep moving around or keep adding more or whatever. So that's a really nice feature. So that's what this whole thing is hanging out here for. So I'll get around to using that once we start putting the color in. What am I at? I'm at 1 hour right now. So for now I think that's going to be it. And then I'll come back next time, try to refine it a little bit more, then maybe move into, we'll see how far I get, but we'll then probably move into inking. Later on in the week, if I don't specifically want to work on this project, I might just jump on and sketch whatever I'm thinking of, or just something for fun, and then come back to this. I'm trying to make this sort of like a Sunday only type thing, but hey, who knows? If I get requests or whatever, I might work on it throughout the week too, if I'm just getting on just to sketch. So I'm going to save this. There we go. All right, that's it for now. Hopefully that was more informative, and hopefully it helps you, Ugly Doll, and everybody else watching. Because I know if one person's usually thinking that and speaks up, there's other people that are like it. And the video that I did last time, I just threw it on there. It got a lot more views than I thought it was going to get. So anybody else have any ideas, or maybe I missed something, and maybe I'm not explaining something and I'm taking it for granted, just let me know and I'll try to incorporate, talking about it. It does slow you down a little bit, but it's not a big deal. That's what this is all about. So I don't care how long it takes on this. It's more of like a learning project and trying to reestablish myself as far as getting back online and having more of an online presence. So, and to me, I don't know, posting stagnant pictures and whatnot, it's nice, but this is just a little bit funner. So I like to actually do the process live, and then if anybody's gradually joins in or whatever over time, got questions, just go to town, just start asking. I'll try to answer as best I can. So that's it for now. I'll catch you next time.